The 7-day I Am retreat is not just another course or retreat. It is deep sadhana. Sadhana is the wayless way that leads from the illusion of becoming to the simplicity of being. This retreat is designed to meet you wherever you are, literally. Whether you choose to do the I Am retreat from the quiet of your own home, or you rent a cabin in the woods, or gather a small group of friends to dive in together, physically or virtually, what matters most is the intention. You create the outer conditions, and we provide the inner framework. Some will choose solitude, creating a sacred space for silence and stillness. Others find strength in the Sangha, sharing the journey with fellow seekers in a shared container of presence. There's no one right way, only the sincerity of your commitment to turn within. At the Samadhi Center and the Awaken the World initiative, we've spent years exploring how to create the most potent conditions for true awakening. The I Am retreat is the fruit of this exploration, a 7-day immersive online experience that runs continuously, week after week, for those called to the pathless path. The first day starts with a video introduction replay from the live retreats. With all of the pre-recorded videos, we have made various recordings available so you can utilize the schedule over and over, with different sets of recordings from different past retreats. We have curated the most common questions, teachings, and highlight the most common pitfalls and hindrances that come up during practice. Once you gain access to the schedule page, you will have access forever and can create the retreat for yourself anytime in the future. The retreat is self-directed, but it has live components where you will be in deep practice with other participants as well. Here is what a typical day looks like. You will set your alarm for 5:45 a.m. Meditation on Zoom starts for retreat participants at 6 a.m. The daily meditation group participants will join at 7 a.m. for the second hour of the meditation. You can do your own silent practice, work with a technique, or use one of the many one-hour guided meditations that we offer. The invitation is to stay in continuous practice even as you have breakfast, shower, and take a break, always abiding in presence, keeping attention on I Amness or beingness, which we will point towards throughout the retreat. From 9 to 10 there are pre-recorded teachings, with many alternative teachings from past retreats as well. At 10 a.m. there is another live Zoom meditation with the daily group. At 11 a.m. there are Q&A sessions from past retreats where many of the common questions are addressed. After lunch there is a yoga class, followed by a 2-hour meditation period. After dinner there is a self-inquiry teaching, and again there are multiple versions of each teaching, so you have the benefit of different pointers. After the teaching, you will enter into dyads with a partner for self-inquiry. Each dyad is 40 minutes long. You will have the option to do dyads continuously until 10 p.m., or you can break it up by joining the 7:30 Zoom meditation with the live daily group. After the dyads is a half-hour rest. At this point, some people will go to sleep, but you are invited to do a final live Zoom meditation from 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. On day 4 each week, there is a live 1.5-hour check-in with me. This is an opportunity to discuss anything that is coming up in your practice. At the end of the retreat, there will be a recorded talk about integration back into life and the fundamental paradox of living from the self, or from I Amness. The practices that we do at the beginning of the retreat lead to a clearing of the mind, creating the conditions for awakening. But awakening is not the end. It is the beginning of a new form of sadhana. Once you know who you are, then it is about abiding as the self, noticing the remaining vasanas and samskaras, the tendencies and patterns of the unconscious mind that are still in play, and letting them burn up in the fire of presence. Before awakening, sadhana may look like practice, effort, and discipline, working with the techniques that are offered, and placing attention again and again into stillness, presence, and the inner vibration of I am. After awakening, sadhana becomes something different. It becomes sadhana without a doer. This retreat is designed to create the inner and outer conditions where the egoic mind has nowhere to hide. In the silence of this container, the illusions of the separate self are gently, or sometimes radically, dismantled. The I Am retreat invites willingness to rest in the unknown. As the Zen saying goes, awakening is an accident, but sadhana makes you accident-prone. Whether you are just beginning or deep in the unfolding, as this remembrance deepens, the inner energy, prana, chi, kundalini, however one names it, begins to move freely, no longer entangled in karmic knots of identification. The inner lotus starts to bloom, and samadhi, once glimpsed as a passing state, begins to root itself as a permanent unfolding. To truly enter this space of transformation, the I Am retreat invites a total commitment, a wholehearted willingness to engage in continuous practice for 7 days. This is not a casual offering. It is a sacred container that asks everything of you, so that everything false may fall away. For 1 week, we invite you to set aside all distractions, to focus your energy with single-pointed intention. The structure of the retreat is designed with precision to create the most fertile ground for awakening to occur. When you surrender fully to the container, it becomes a mirror, a crucible, a doorway. For those who have already experienced Kensho, or a glimpse beyond the veil, or tasted the stillness of samadhi, this retreat offers the opportunity to stabilize in pure I Amness. Here the deeper work begins, recognizing and purifying the samskaras, the latent impressions and patterns that still move in the unconscious. It is in the light of sustained presence that these old patterns are seen, met, and released. This is the grace of sadhana. The same conditions that bring about awakening are a sanctuary for its deepening. The perennial wisdom of the ages whispers one essential truth: die before you die. This, of course, is not about physical death, but the death of the false self and the unraveling of everything you think you are. It is about interrupting the pattern of you and the habitual momentum of the egoic mind, and entering into the mystery of not knowing. This is not about chasing extraordinary experiences, and will involve moving out of your comfort zone, but in a balanced way. Not so far out of your comfort zone that you will go into overwhelm. We are finding the middle way. True transformation asks that we step beyond the ego's preferences, beyond the addiction to comfort, the avoidance of discomfort, and to allow whatever arises to be held in awareness without resistance. There are many pointers and practices offered during the I Am retreat, but eventually we move beyond the techniques. It is not about achieving any goal. We are not adding anything more to the conditioned mind, but rather the teachings and practices are instruments of revelation, Tools that will help to strip away the illusion layer by layer, like a thorn to remove a thorn, until what remains is the formless ground of being, primordial awareness that was never born and will never die. Awakening is not a hobby. It's not something to pencil into your calendar, between your green smoothie and your evening Netflix. If the longing is real, it burns. Not like a mild curiosity. It may start out as just a spark, but the flame grows. All that you think you are burns in this flame. It is a longing that consumes the seeker, not just something to add to your spiritual resume. To seek the truth is not to casually wander in the forest of books and teachers, collecting mantras like souvenirs. This fire, this divine discontent, is what the sages have always pointed to. Not a desire for an experience, but a yearning from the soul, a thirst that no worldly spring can quench.